Okay, folks, number 1. It says simplify. You guys have already done this, hopefully. Okay? Give any restrictions on the variable. Remember, when it says any restrictions, that means what can the variable not be? Because it cannot make the denominator equal 0. If it makes the denominator 0, then it cannot be that value. All right, so we're going to deal with that in a moment. But let's look at this for a second. I can't factor the top, but I do see that it's written in the wrong order. It should say negative y plus 2. Okay? And I don't like the first term to be negative, so I am generally going to pull out a negative, but I'm not going to do that yet. That's just the first thing I did, was just change the order. Now, in the denominator, I'm going to factor this thing, and it looks pretty nice. It looks like there's nothing in front of the y squared, so I'm just going to do y, y. And since this is negative and this is positive, I know that both of these have to be negative. Okay? And if I get y minus 2 and y minus 2, these things multiply to give me positive 4, and they add to give me negative 4. Okay? All right, so far, so good. So far, so good. But I can factor out a negative in the numerator. I'm going to have to move this thing over because, okay.
That's cool.
I don't want to do that. I want to move it. There we go, because that thing is in our way. I know I can factor out a negative in the numerator, and I want to do that. I don't want the first term to be negative, so I'm going to write negative y minus 2. Okay? I pulled out a negative from each of those terms over y minus 2 times y minus 2. All right, Mr. Cortez, I can go ahead and cancel now. No. No. Right, boy? Before I cancel, I have to give restrictions on the denominator, or on the variable. What can y not equal, Koulis?
2 and
Not 2 and negative 2. It can be negative 2, right? Because if I put negative 2 in here, that just gives me negative 4. The only thing, because these are exactly the same, y cannot equal 2. All right, so that's my restriction. And now I can cancel. Numerator with the denominator, and it leaves me with, what does it leave me with on top, Ellie?
negative 1.
Negative 1 over, what's on the bottom, Ellie?
Y minus 2.
Y minus 2. Perfect. I could take that negative right here, and I could move it out front. But I don't have to. I can leave it on the top.
When
That's
you
fine.
write your answer in the blank, do you have to write the restrictions along?
You want to write both of these things in the blank. Both? Let's see. So in the blank, you're going to have those two things. Because it asks you for both. Give the restriction and simplify it. We're just reducing it. And whenever we reduce a fraction, we're going to factor it as much as we can. Okay? All right, that looks good. Number 1 is done.